My name is John Lobianco. Because of my father's love and guidance, I have been self-employed in the automotive business in Long Island, New York for the past 40 years. I am a certified pilot and owner. I'm a licensed aviation mechanic and am a member of the Peninsula Kiwanis, a 2008 recipient of the Kaiser Award and a 2010 recipient of the Man of the Year Award. But most important, I am my father's son. I'm here today because I strongly believe that my father and I have become victims of guardianship abuse in the state of Florida. He is now a virtual prisoner. His only crime was to grow old. My only crime was to care about my father. Like hundreds of millions of Americans who came before him, my father loved and raised his family successfully. He and my mother were married for over 50 years before she passed away. He built a successful business after starting with nothing. He taught me to work hard and to always respect others. We were a happy family. Until my father became a victim of the system of guardianship abuse that now exists in this country, I spoke to my father every single day and also visited him frequently. In May of 2009, my father had a caregiver who was financially exploiting him. I contacted the authorities in Florida. I engaged an elder law attorney to help me with this matter. He led me to believe that he represented both me and my father. The caregiver was ultimately arrested and convicted of exploitation of the elder. He knew that my father, who had a savings of $1.5 million, had an elaborate estate plan in place. He also knew that I was my father's healthcare proxy and that I had durable power of attorney concerning my father's financial matters. The attorney told me that I could not be my father's guardian because I lived out of state. A simple read of the Florida guardianship statutes show that this was absolutely not true. That in fact, the statute gives preference to family members first. A plenary guardian was appointed by the court. I had no idea that once this hearing was over, my father's life and my life would be changed forever. After 3 visits to my attorney's office and 31 phone calls, he told me not to call him anymore. That he did not represent me or my father, but in fact, he represented the guardian. I was shocked beyond belief. I then hired yet another attorney and started legal proceedings to gain my father's freedom. He immediately submitted to the court my father's elaborate estate plan, which I believe was fraudulently withheld from the court to gain a guardianship. The lawyers and guardian have admitted to having these documents at depositions and court hearings, but claim that they did not submit them to the court because it would not have mattered. Why not? My father's durable power of attorney states if I should become incapacitated, my wishes must be honored. The transcript from the capacity hearing, where I was told to sit out in the hallway because everything was going well, states that the judge asked both the guardian and the attorneys, is a plenary guardianship the only alternative? Are there less restrictive means available than a full plenary guardianship? The guardian and attorneys responded, no, Your Honor, this is the only alternative. The judge was never informed at first that the ward's son, me, was sitting outside the courtroom with my wife and a friend of my father. In my heart, I believe a plenary guardian was appointed based upon these intentional omissions from the truth. The court did not know that my father's loving and caring family was willing and able to care for him. The professional guardian and the attorneys are officers of the court, so the court believes what they say and do. Therefore, they have the cloak of the law around them. How is it possible? It's been almost 4 years and the Florida court has not been able to resolve this tragedy. I firmly believe that the Florida state court system has failed my father and me. Again, my father's complete estate planning was submitted to the court, but the corruption continues. You would think that when the court received these documents, they would have been shocked that they were omitted from the court. My father demanded to have an attorney, but was denied by the court his most basic civil liberties rights because my father's guardian's attorney said in court, what Mr. Lobianco says or wants mean nothing. He has been deemed incapacitated by this court and considers me, his loving and caring son, a non-interested party with no rights at all to my father. Why? The family was not fighting over my father's care or assets. In fact, I have always been involved in my father's life. Likewise, he has always been involved in mine. He has always been my hero. Few minutes. In retaliation for my sought and fought depositions, the guardian has banned me from having any contact with my father for the past year and a half. It's heartbreaking. I firmly believe this is inhumane and unconstitutional. I strongly believe the guardian has taken away his only contact and support he had. The guardian stripped away his freedom, dignity by isolating him from his loving and caring family without adequate due process. Why are there no rights and safeguards to protect him and others from this injustice? My father kept begging to be released to his family. He would constantly argue and fight with the guardian, and on some occasions it became physical. My father can't fight anymore. He is now 90 years old. He has given up the fight. I strongly believe guardianship appears to have become the new profit industry, with no code of ethics to adhere to and no fear of prosecution by the court. Who do you complain to when you believe a professional guardian is acting improperly? There's no county, state, or federal agency that oversees their behavior. The federal government must step in and correct this problem. This is a national tragedy, which requires immediate federal action. Least restrictive alternatives, families first, should be mandated to state courts. There is something drastically wrong in this country regarding guardianship laws. How is it possible that a man's dignity, family, freedom, and property can be taken so easily? I should be taking care of my father. This was his wishes when he was capable to make such decisions. Please help my father and many others like him. Thank you.